Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the TMax. I vlog about language, culture, and travel, and today we are going to look at the Italian language. I just came off of a 90-day trip in and around Italy, and one of the goals I had on this trip was to improve my Italian, and I was at 0, so I made it to like level 0.5, so that's an improvement, right? So this video is going to be laid out in the way that my mind works. As I'm learning the language, I'll take notes that help me to remember certain things that hopefully will help me speak the language better. So while learning Italian, one thing that I realized is that Italian took all the most difficult parts of Spanish and all the most difficult parts of French and said, hey, we're gonna do that too, and all your easy stuff we're probably not gonna do. I'm just kidding. I know Italian was invented at the same time. Which language derived from Latin first, French, Spanish, or Italian? Oh, fun fact, leave it in the comments below so that we can all know. Okay, so first let's talk about how Italian is similar to French. If you've listened to French, it kind of sounds like it's just all strung together because there's lots of liaisons. So if a word ends with a consonant and begins with the next word begins with a vowel, they're probably going to be connected with a sound. So Italian was like, hey, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do all these liaisons. So like for instance, an orange in French would be un orange, like I have this liaison with the N and the O, and in Italian is un'arancia, which takes us into the second thing. Italian, like French, uses the apostrophe, so they do a lot of conjugations. So an orange is a perfect example. That becomes one word in Italian. Un'arancia, they put the U in with an apostrophe and orange, and so one word. And in French, they do this a lot when they have double vowels. So like S and A together become say. And je and a, instead of saying je a, they combine them, je. Italian does the same thing. For instance, dove and a, instead of saying dove a, they say dove apostrophe a, dove. Or che a, they say che. They just combine it into one. Both Italian and French pronounce the letter V. In Spanish, it is a very clear B sound, except for in music. For some reason, they say the V sound in music. So fun fact for you. So when French want to negate things, they have this like ne and then the word that comes after, pas, jamais, whatever. And Italian seems to be doing the same thing. It's non, N-O-N, and then whatever, ma, whatever the other, I haven't learned any other ones. So non ma is the only one I know so far, but it is like a two-sided negation. Italian, just like French, will conjugate with two different verbs in the past. Spanish, they said, okay, we're gonna pick one, haber, and we're going to use that to do all conjugations. French was like, well, it depends on if you're moving or not. We might use the verb to be instead of the verb to have. And Italian was like, hey, we're going to do the same thing. So sometimes it's conjugated with avere and sometimes essere. And you just have to learn which words are conjugated that way. So like I mentioned earlier with French, they're conjugating with two different verbs in the past. Italian does this as well with their reflexive verbs. So I've already learned that really difficult thing in French, so bringing it here is not such a pain, but it was hard with French. So then how is Italian similar to Spanish? Well, one thing is that they both stress sounds. So in French, there are no stresses in any of the words. If it be a word with 12 syllables, very unlikely, there's no stress. It's spoken smoothly. But in Spanish, there's one syllable has a stress on it, and Italian is the same way. And generally, it's the second to last sound or the penultimate sound. So for example, cappuccino. It's not cappuccino, not cappuccino, it's cappuccino. And Spanish has lots of these examples, and in Spanish, they'll actually put an accent over it if it's not that second to last sound. In Italian, I haven't seen this yet. They just like, for instance, zucchero. It should be, if it's the second to last sound, it should be zucchero, but the zucchero, and I don't normally see an accent there. So I think maybe with Italian, you just gotta know where if the stress changes, but generally it's that second to last syllable. And so this next one is something I actually enjoy, dropping the pronouns. So in French, you have to say the je, tu, il, et, all that. In Spanish, you can drop the yo, tu, usted, whatever. Nobody uses those. In Italian, I've heard it mixed, but I've also heard that you don't need to use these pronouns. So you can drop them, and it makes it much easier to speak the language, I think. Spanish has this two verbs to mean to be. They have estar and ser. It's like, oh, for this reason, one's this, and for one, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes things easy and not complicated at all. Italian's like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do stare and essere. So you just have to understand the different states of being to know when you use one or the other. So like Spanish, Italian has many nouns that end with O and A, and generally the O nouns would be masculine and the A nouns would be feminine. It's kind of like a little cheat sheet. Maybe 65-70% of the time that's going to be correct. And in Spanish, when you want to add emphasis to adjectives, you'll say isimo, so grandissimo or difficilissimo. Actually, that might be the same in Italian as in Spanish. And in Italian, you can do the same thing. For example, like you want to say something's very well done, you can say benissimo. It's just a very easy, convenient way of expanding your vocabulary, effectively just throwing isimo at the end of words that you already know. And of course, these three languages all come from Latin, so they're going to have some things in common. Generally speaking, adjectives will come after the noun. So the boy tall is going to school, and this would be in all three languages, versus in English we'd say the tall boy. I don't know why I'm on this tall kick, but yeah, maybe I wish I was a little bit taller.
I wish I was a little bit taller.
And so for whatever reason, they use the verb make for weather. So in English, it's a state of being. It is nice. But in Spanish, French, and Italian, the weather makes nice. It makes sunny, it makes cloudy. I don't know why. Each of these languages has like 50 conjugations for every verb, and you have to memorize them, and it's a whole thing. So it's, yeah, like half the language is memorizing conjugations of verbs. For whatever reason, the verb to go is always irregular in these languages. So in English, I go, like the infinitive is to go, I go. That, yeah, it's simple, right? But in Spanish, for instance, it's ir, but it's boy, like yo boy, I go. And in French, aller, but it's je vais. And now I've learned in Italian, andare is to go, but it's io vado. So I don't know why go is just irregular. Italian, like French and Spanish, has reflexive verbs. And yeah, why? Just another set of conjugations, and it's just the meaning could be different based on if it's to you or to whatever. Whew, they make it interesting, don't they? So this is all me and my process of learning the language. Some of this may be incorrect, and I'd love for you to tell me in the comments below how incorrect I am so that I can learn and improve. And maybe this would be helpful for you if you're trying to learn one of these languages and you see, oh, they're similar. Maybe you know one of them and you're thinking of learning another one. This might maybe encourage you to go for it because there's lots of similarities that you can use, and it would help you to learn that next language. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoy making these. Language is always one of my favorite things, and I'm going to keep learning Italian even though I'm back in the US. I'm just gonna meet up with some Italian people and take some classes and see what happens. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave me comments below if you have ideas for videos, or if you want to be in a video, let me know. I'll keep making them because I just like doing it. So I'll see you in the next one.